Hi, I'm building an API system from scratch and documenting every decision along the way. Okay, so quick question. Have you ever built an API where your front end expects one thing, but your back end returns something else, and your docs say something completely different? Like it works, but nothing actually matches. That's called API drift. And yes, it's actually a pretty common problem. So in this video, I'll show you how I approach this using a spec-first setup with OpenAPI and how that kind of becomes the single source of truth for everything. So what I'm building here is basically a portfolio API, nothing too complex, but enough to feel like a real system. It has things like projects, blog posts, contact form, skills, the usual stuff. But instead of starting with backend code, which is what I'd normally do, I actually started by defining the API contract first using OpenAPI. So this OpenAPI.yaml, this is where everything starts. So if you're new to this, think of OpenAPI like a blueprint or like a plan before building something, because if you directly start coding, you'll probably change things later anyway. So instead, you define everything up front: what endpoints exist, what they return, what they accept, what errors can happen. So you're kind of removing guesswork early. Now, this is where things get interesting. Why did I even start with this? Why not just write backend code first? Because from experience, things start drifting. Like front end defines types one way, backend returns something slightly different, docs don't get updated, and then you're just debugging weird mismatches. So with spec first, you kind of force everything to align because both front end and back end depend on this spec. So instead of fixing issues later, you're avoiding them early. And this is probably my favorite part: type generation. From this spec, I can generate TypeScript types automatically. So, I don't manually write types anymore, and I don't have to worry if they match or not. And if I change something in the spec, I just regenerate, and TypeScript will literally tell me what broke, which is honestly very helpful. So, if you kind of step back, this is part of a bigger architecture. You can think of it like three layers: contract, backend, front end. Right now, we're only working on the contract part, which defines how everything else should behave. Now, this is not complete, like not production ready or anything. There are still things missing, like versioning, caching, pagination improvements, rate limiting. But that's fine because this step is just about setting the foundation. So next, I'll start building the backend, probably using Next.js. And instead of figuring out APIs while coding, I'll just follow what's already defined here, which makes things a lot more structured. So yeah, if you found this useful, you can follow along. I'm building this step by step and trying to explain not just what I'm doing, but also why I'm doing it.